Problem 16 on your review. If arc BD is 25, so if this is 25 degrees here, and AE is 135, then they want to find angle ACE, which is this angle right here. So in order to find this angle, they actually give you a hint right here. Now, it would be better that you get used to looking at the Chapter 11 formulas, which you will have available on your test. This problem looks a lot like this problem. And what it says is take the larger arc minus the smaller arc, which is closer to the angle, and take the difference and divide by 2. So I'm going to go 135 minus 25. That's a measure of angle ACE. All over 2. If I go ahead and subtract that, I will get 110. Oops, 110 over 2, which is 55 degrees. For the next problem, they tell me that the measure of arc AC is 36 degrees. Arc BD is 96 degrees. They want to know angle AEC, so this one right here, and angle AED. So let's focus on angle AEC. Well, AEC, if you refer to your chart, your formulas, there are two of them. This one has to do with segments, and this has to do with angles. So let me go back to it and say, what do they want you to do? Well, they say that both of these angles are congruent, which makes sense because they're vertical angles, and that their measure is equal to the sum of these two arcs that they intersect. And if you divide that by 2. So it's kind of like the average of the two arcs. It is the average of the two arcs. So I'll say 36 plus 96 divided by 2. That's a measure of angle AEC. Which equals, if I add 36 and 96, I get 132 divided by 2. And then when I divide that by the 2, I get 66 degrees. Now, AED, I don't know these arc measurements. I have no idea what they are. But one thing I do know is that AED forms a linear pair with AEC. So these two angles must add up to 180. So I can say the measure of angle AED plus this 66 equals 180. So I can subtract 66 from both sides. The measure of angle AED equals 114. On this next problem, they tell us that the measure of arc ADC, so this part on the outside. Some of my students were using color to mark these, and that's a really good idea. Then they want to find the measure of angle ABC, which is this one right here. Well, this is kind of like the problem up here. If you look on the math chart, the formulas, all of these pretty much use the same formula. The outer arc away from the angle minus the arc next to the angle, the minor arc, and then divide by 2. So I know this arc, but I don't know this one. But I can find it. Arc AC plus the 220 has to add up to 360. So when I subtract 220 from both sides, the measure of arc AC equals 140. So I know this inner arc is 140. Now I can use the formula where I subtract the outer arc minus the inner arc. So 220, measure of angle ABC, equals 220 minus 140 all over 2. 220 minus 140, well, that should be about 80. It should be exactly 80. And 80 divided by 2 is 40. So the measure at that angle is 40 degrees.